Okay. Right now I'm doing kind of like a review opinion type deal on Notes from the Underground. I read it last week and I thought it was really interesting. I guess it's more interesting if you can relate to it, and I definitely did. It was recommended by to me by my professor, and yeah. I wrote down all these notes, and these are the first half of the notes. So I'll kind of give my opinion on them, and it's kind of interesting, I thought. Um, First, I read this. It says, he could not become spiteful, too conscious, tormented by many elements, until ashamed, drove to convulsions, then bored. I guess I related to this because it's like, after a while, even the strongest of emotions get boring. And when he was talking about how he enjoyed tormenting people, kind of, in the same sense, it was kind of boring to him too. I don't think he was like a malice type of person. I think it was just he was trying to find something to do, something that would evoke feeling within him, but even that just made him bored. So it was kind of like, what can I do to get a reaction out of people? Because sometimes I just like to say the most outlandish things just to get a reaction. And I think we all do that, but I guess the way he came off, it made him sound kind of malicious and cold, but I don't think he was being cold. I think he was just trying to find some sort of feeling. Um, and in another, he said he could not even become an insect, and he kind of referred to himself as a mouse, or he saw himself as an animal or inhuman. And I guess I always kind of felt that way myself, like I was alien to the world, and I couldn't even see myself as human. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird how he saw himself like that. I think it's once you become so conscious of yourself and you get so lost in your thoughts, you don't even really realize that the rest of the world is able to, really interact with you, and you can interact because sometimes it doesn't even feel legitimate. It feels so ingenuine. I guess that's kind of how I felt about that. And then it said, the more capable of sinking into mere, as it had to be so naturally, the agonies suffered and struggle again. He reached a point of enjoying to return to despicable feelings and a sort of secret abnormal, conscious of doing something loathsome that it could be not undone, gnaw at self till it turned into a shameful sweetness, no longer an escape, a barrier. You cannot change, and knew this, and probably would not want to change anyway. I guess with this one, although it kind of it's a little choppy and probably confusing, can't really read my own writing right now. But I guess from that, it seemed like everything had more of a bittersweet taste because the only way he could feel anymore was through despair and agony. And once you have so much negativity, or you're more attracted to depth and darker things, maybe it's like the whole toothache analogy. It's like you get so used to it, you have to find a way to cope, and so naturally you get some kind of depraved pleasure out of it, although it doesn't feel depraved to you but to the rest of the world. Because I often find myself sinking into these weird, moods where I just sit there and think and think and think, and I get pessimistic and negative, but in the same sense, I legitimately enjoy it, and I find myself seeking these darker thoughts and, wondering what's going on, and, what does everything mean, and is there nothing, is there everything, is there anything? And it's like I drive myself to this point of insanity, and sometimes I wonder, am I crazy? What am I thinking? Why does, all this just weird stuff, and it just kind of throws me into this like isolated realm where I just don't feel the rest of the world, and I feel detached and sort of numb. And the only times I really feel is when I get into these zones, and I feel like maybe like a weird kind of euphoria, and I don't know. I guess that's basically what I got from that. And then when he described it as like a shameful sweetness, I think it's shameful because the rest of the world views it that way, and so you feel kind of guilty for enjoying this when everybody else is having fun being around each other, and here you are alone and enjoying being alone and seeking it out, even though there's that side of you that wants to interact. Like when he described he had, a friend that he would go see once in a while to make him feel that, he's a part of the world still, and to kind of remind him that he was alive, because I'm like that too. I can just detach from the world completely and go into these realms and just this my own world, my own inner world where I'm just lost in thought, and I don't know. I guess it's just society's standards that just kind of ruin that. And then he said, that even if he could, he wouldn't even want to change it, because it's like that part of you wants to change it, but then you're like, I enjoy this, if I could be ignorant and be blissful and happy, would I want to be that way? I wouldn't want to be that way, because it's like, I feel like I see the world from an honest viewpoint, and I'm more realistic, although it might come off pessimistic, but I don't feel pessimistic about it. So it's like if I had the chance to change and, be like everybody else, per se, I wouldn't, want to be that way, because I feel like I have a different perception and a perspective that can, at least help or open people up to another side of life that they don't really consider. Let's see. Then this one says, for normal men, revenge is an act. The conscious do nothing because it is final. It's soothing. When he was talking about how, the average people, when it comes to revenge, they just jump right into it, They'll attack, they don't really think twice. But when you're super hyper aware of everything and you're conscious of it, it's like you can't just act. You have to sit there and you think about everything, and like, is there a point to this? Should I do it? Then you get this anxiety and you just give up and you don't really act even though you want to. And it's like kind of how he was talking about that officer and how he would have these weird go through his head and play out the scene over and over again until he, got to the moment where he did it, and then he messed it up, and then, I don't know, it's like, I'm like that myself. I find myself in these weird cycles where I play things out in my mind so much that it's like, it's realistic in itself, and I'm okay with that, and I don't know, I guess that's weird, but I don't know, I definitely understood that. Then this part I thought was really profound. He said, nobody asked him to do so with revenge out of doubts and questions, and then he remembers injury to the smallest, most shameful detail, and so over and again he'll think about it, teasing and irritating himself and with his imagination, suffering 100 times more. Like, that's how I am with everything. Like, something little can bother me or irritate me, but I'll just let it eat at me, and I just replay out every scene and, think of every possibility that goes along with it, and I don't know, it's just weird how much of this I related to, because this is only like a quarter of it, and I'm almost out of time, so I'm probably boring everyone, but let's see. It goes on how he feels like he tricks even himself, and how sick he feels with this, and how he even tricked himself into believing he fell in love and all kinds of stuff. But okay, I'm basically running out of time, so if anybody enjoyed this and wants to hear any more of my opinions, then feel free to let me know and I'll post some more, and if not, and this is boring, then I'll just leave it be. But alright, thank you, and bye.